Should I do it this way? Hello, people. Welcome back to my channel. That was not very good. I need to get it together. Get it together, Danny. Okay. Get it together. Hey guys, welcome back. What did I just do with my jaw there? I have no idea. But today we're gonna talk about pride. Yes, pride. Something that we all struggle with. You can't deny it. The reason why I want to talk about pride is because it is something that I have been trying to overcome. It's something that I know that I struggle with, but I try to overcome it sometimes, and then sometimes I just stop, and then I catch myself in these moments of pride, and I'm just like, I just really need to focus on this. So I am. So I've been praying for pride. I mean, not for pride. Praying for the virtue against pride, which is humility. And guys, it has been hard. Hard. But let's talk about pride now. I was searching up some things about pride. This is what I found. Pride is the root of all sins. It is the queen of all vices, as St. Thomas Aquinas likes to put it. Pride makes us focus too much on ourselves, boasting the gifts that God gave us, believing that we are superior than others, whether we subconsciously believe that or not, denying that something is our fault, or even sometimes being disobedient to God's will. Yes, guys, it is hard to follow God's will, especially when you don't want it. But pride was also at the heart of Adam and Eve. It was the reason why they ate that fruit. Both believed that this fruit was greater and that they knew that this fruit was better than whatever God had told them. Which obviously wasn't true, and that's something that the world nowadays struggles with a lot, thinking, I'm gonna do what I want to do because I want to do it and I believe that it's right, so I am gonna do it. And that is not the best way to go through life, guys, and that is something that we need to pray for this world, because this world is very prideful and it is not good. But that's besides the point. I wanted to talk about 3 steps that I came up with to overcome pride. Number 1. So the first step to overcoming pride is acknowledging our pride. This is huge. We have to desire to overcome it. We have to desire to let go of the things that cause us to live in this prideful life, prideful way. When we acknowledge our pride, God has already worked in us by the fact that we recognize our pride and that we desire to overcome it. Once we recognize this vice, we have to recognize where in our lives pride is manifesting and where it is clear that we are acting in prideful ways or where we are being prideful. From that, we work against it by praying for the virtue against pride, which is humility. So, for example, a way to recognize this pride, I'll give you an example in my life. If you know me, you know that I love to talk, especially when it comes to Jesus or when it's about myself. I love to just talk and dominate the conversation or just interrupt people, and that's not very good. So a good practice for me to overcome this one little prideful thing in my life is to let other people talk and to just sit and be silent and just hear the other person and just try to be a good listener. Number 2. So number 2 is to know your littleness. You have to recognize and embrace that you are truly nothing if it weren't for the Lord. Every gift that you have is because of God. It is not because of something that you have done, but it is because God willed it for you. We have to know that there is someone much bigger than us, who knows us much better than we know ourselves, and that knows what is good for us. Despite what we believe is good for us, despite what we want, we have to know that there's someone bigger than us, and we have to acknowledge that, and we have to know that to overcome this pride. And there's this Bible verse that I came across while I was praying for this humility in Mark 5 that really let me have peace with this. And it goes like this. He took the child by the hand and said to her, Talitha cum, which means, little girl, I say to you, arise. The girl, a child of 12, arose immediately and walked around. At that, they were utterly astounded. I love that. I just love that because it is saying like, you are little, but with me, you will arise. The Lord calls you little, but he calls you to rise up in this world full of vice and to love a God that is bigger and more powerful than you will ever be. Knowing that with him only you can do bigger things than you can on your own. He has called you to rise and dig deep to find those gifts that only you can offer him. Step 3. So step 3 is to pray for humility. The only way to really overcome pride is to pray for humility. And it is hard and it is painful, but you have to go through it, guys. I testify to this. The first time I really tried to pray, that I remember praying for humility, I got a speeding ticket. And then the second time I prayed for humility, like I really focused on humility, my dad received a letter in the mail saying that I ran a red light. And then literally last Thursday, like literally a week from yesterday, and my car got towed and I had to pay $300 to get my car back. It is painful to go through those things. It is very expensive, but I think Jesus just knows that this is what's gonna hurt me the most. So he uses that to give me humility. So be careful. That's literally only part 1 of my little testimony of humility. So there's another part. But I was listening to this podcast while I was writing down like what I was gonna say for this video. And it said this, that humility is reverence for the truth about ourselves. And that's very true. But actually, humility is not looking at ourselves and believing we are terrible or believing that we have nothing to offer. But it's embracing and acknowledging the gifts that God gives us and glorifying him through those gifts. But humility is also embracing the truth that we will not have every single gift in the world, and knowing that there needs to be other people with other gifts so that together we can glorify Jesus, knowing that together we can only glorify him. And for me, it was kind of hard to hear that, because that's someone who wants to know the who, why, when, where, why of everything. I look at the saints and I'm like, wow, like I want to have all of these gifts. And I look at another saint and I'm like, I want to have all of their gifts, and I just want to have everything that these saints have, and I just want to be spoken by the way that the Lord speaks to these saints. But there are certain gifts that God gives us that only we can more fully embrace than other people. Does that make sense? We each have our gifts, and we have to know that there are some people who have gifts that we don't have, and that's okay, because they're better at glorifying God with those gifts, and we're better at glorifying God with our gifts. But when you pray for humility, the Lord will show you the areas where you are prideful. Like he did to me when he gave me all those tickets that cost me like $600. That cost me like a lot of money. And a lot of people actually don't recognize this. And this is huge, to recognize where we are being prideful, because then we can work through that. Another testimony about praying for humility. Last week, I was doing something at like my church or something, and I was introducing myself to this one like lady. So I hold out my hand and I was like, hey, I'm Danny, like nice to meet you. And she just looks at my hand and she's like, for like 5 seconds, and then she just turns away. So I'm literally just standing there with my hand out like this, and I'm just like, oh, like, okay. It was just so embarrassing, and there were people watching, and she didn't even like shake my hand back. And in that moment, like both me and Jesus knew what he was doing. Like he showed me humility by humiliating myself, which is totally fine. I'll embrace it if it's for Jesus, of course. So those are the 3 things for overcoming pride: acknowledging your pride, knowing your littleness, and praying for humility. So pay close attention to the way that Jesus is allowing you to choose whether to react with pride or humility. Or if he's giving you those opportunities where you need to respond with love and with patience. I am going to link down below the litany of humility because this is one of the most beautiful prayers I've ever prayed. There's this one verse that I just love, and it is, Jesus, grant me the grace to that others may be preferred to me in everything. Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. Wow. That others may become holier than I. Oh my gosh. That others may be loved more than I. Like, even today, like, there was times where I'm just like, okay, Jesus is telling me to be patient right now, and I really don't want to be patient, but I just need to because it's for Jesus. But please. Yeah, that is the video about pride. I hope you guys, oh my god, my door's open. I went to the bathroom and my door's open. I'm literally gonna leave it. It's fine. But that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys found something that spoke to you. If you struggle with pride or any other sin, pray for love and pray that God shows you where in your life you need healing or you need to grow, and he will show it to you. He will. That is it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. As long as you be my girl.